You don't hear the sound of an alarm clock. There are no voices, just the muffled sound of the kettle heating up, a ray of light coming through the crack in the window, and slow footsteps on the cold floor. The morning hasn't officially begun, but something already awakens within that silence. A mature body moves unhurriedly, and in that moment, even without words, there is life organizing itself with purpose. Few talk about it, but many feel it. The fear isn't just about aging, it's about not knowing how to keep living well. There are days when the body feels heavier, the memory slower, and enthusiasm more fragile. The routine, once so automatic, starts to become an effort. And deep down, a silent question arises: is this how it's going to be from now on? What if the answer wasn't in the most expensive medications, but in the simplest gestures? What if aging healthily was less about fighting time and more about learning to go along with it? Maybe what makes us ill isn't age, but the way we forget to prepare body and soul for each new day. Dr. Ellsworth Wareham lived to be 104 years old. A cardiothoracic surgeon, he planted his own garden, walked early, avoided distractions upon waking, and cultivated simple habits with admirable consistency. His life wasn't marked by major interventions, but by small daily commitments to well-being. An example not of perfection, but of continuous presence. Maybe longevity isn't a prize, but a rhythm, a tempo that can be learned. Are you ready to listen to this tempo? Then, take a deep breath and come discover the habits that can turn each morning into a gesture of quiet and powerful care. 1. Waking up with purpose and without haste. A well-lived day begins with intention, not urgency. Not every alarm has to be a scream. Many bodies wake even before the clock, not out of anxiety but natural rhythm. The secret isn't the exact time, but how you wake. A body that wakes calmly sends signals of balance to the brain, and the mind, in turn, responds with presence. The first choice of the day already shapes its entry tone. Imagine opening your eyes without haste. No phone, no to-do list, no obligation to seem productive. Just the sound of breathing. That silent moment holds power. It's in that interval you can decide who will lead the day. Autopilot or your presence. Often it's not the world that rushes us, it's us who forget to slow down. Dr. Ellsworth Wareham used to say, "The body listens to how you treated it upon waking." Waking with purpose, for him, meant choosing not to react, but to begin. He started with deep breathing, gentle movements, and quiet thoughts. That choice, repeated daily, not only protected his heart, but tuned his spirit to the rhythm of life. Morning rush increases cortisol, throws off metabolism, and confuses the nervous system. Studies show that the first 15 minutes of the day directly influence attention and mood for the hours that follow. This doesn't require a magic formula. Just slow down. A body without alarm wakes better, and a mind without overload orients itself more clearly. Have you noticed how waking up rushed changes the feeling of the entire day? It's as if the clock is against you from the first minute. But when you wake with intention, something shifts. You notice the smell of the air, the weight of your foot on the floor, the light touching your skin. These are tiny gestures, but they restore awareness of the now, and that awareness nourishes well-being. To wake with purpose, you don't need to create a complicated ritual. Just start with a pause. Take 3 deep breaths before getting out of bed. Stretch slowly. Observe your mind's rhythm before feeding it with news or tasks. This interval is yours. And the more you honor it, the more you teach your body that it's worth living with attention. There is a quiet beauty in the first gesture of the day. It doesn't need to be productive. It needs to be human. A glass of water, a touch to the heart, a kind thought. Morning purpose doesn't come from goals. It comes from care. It's what reminds us every day that we are still here. And that in itself is already a reason to begin with gratitude. Maybe your clock doesn't need to change, but your rhythm does. And what if, tomorrow, you simply chose to wake calmly, without pressuring yourself, without fighting, without fear of being late for your own life? Because living well doesn't begin with what we do, but with how we awaken to who we are. 2. Avoiding the phone and social media upon waking your mind first. The world can wait. The moment we wake up, the mind is like still water, calm, receptive, uncluttered. Reaching for a phone breaks that stillness. A flood of images, alerts, and news rushes in before we've even said good morning to ourselves. Without realizing, we let strangers, headlines, and algorithms shape the beginning of our day, before our own heart has had the chance to speak. There's a sacred space between sleeping and finding. It's brief, but powerful. If we protect this space, we give our mind the clarity it needs to start gently. Dr. Ellsworth Wareham was known for beginning his day in silence. No devices, no rush, just breath, light, and intention. This habit alone helped him maintain mental clarity well into his 100s, not by chance, but by choice. Many people underestimate how sensitive the brain is in the first 30 minutes after waking. Scientific studies suggest that exposure to screens immediately upon waking can increase anxiety, reduce focus, and spike cortisol levels. It's not just about the news, it's about overstimulation. The nervous system reads every ping and post as input, and too much, too soon, can overwhelm a mind that's just beginning to stretch. Think of your attention like a garden. What you water first grows. If you feed your brain headlines, arguments, and noises, that becomes your mindset. But if you begin with silence, stillness, or reflection, your thoughts move more calmly through the day. It's not about avoiding reality. It's about choosing when to let it in. Instead of checking notifications, try checking in with your body. Stretch your fingers. Breathe slowly. Listen to the silence. These few moments may seem small, but over time, they anchor your attention to what's real. And what's real is not on a screen. It's in your breath, your movement, and your presence with the world around you. You don't need to throw your phone away. Just delay it. Give yourself 20, 30, even 10 minutes before touching it. Create a new rhythm where your attention is yours before it's borrowed by the outside world. As Dr. Wareham once said, health begins where distraction ends. A simple truth that echoes louder each year we live. There is something deeply human about being unreachable for a few minutes each morning. It's a quiet rebellion against the noise, a choice to meet the day on your own terms. No likes, no news, no rush. Just your own pace, gentle, focused, and rooted in what matters. What if your most important notification was the sound of your own breath, or the way sunlight touches your face through the window? These are not distractions. They are beginnings, and they wait for no screen. 3. Moving gently and intentionally upon waking. A body in motion awakens more than muscles. It awakens vitality. Not every movement needs to be exercise. Sometimes the most healing motion is the gentlest. When we wake, the body is like clay, soft, receptive, and sensitive to the way it's shaped. A slow stretch, a deep breath, a turn of the neck. These gestures may seem small, but they send a message. I'm here, I'm awake, I'm listening. Dr. Ellsworth Wareham often began his day with light motion. No intense workouts, just mindful steps around the garden, or a few moments of gentle bending. This wasn't about fitness. It was about circulation, energy, and self-awareness. After decades in medicine, he understood what many forget. Motion is medicine, especially when done with respect for the body's rhythm and age. Scientific studies, including one published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity, show that light movement in the morning, such as walking, stretching, or slow yoga, significantly improves joint flexibility, reduces stiffness, and enhances mood in older adults. Even 5 minutes of intentional motion can reduce inflammation and improve blood flow to the brain. Movement, first thing in the morning, also reorients the body in space. After hours of stillness, the nervous system needs soft signals that it's safe to move. Rushing too quickly can confuse this system, leading to dizziness, pain, or imbalance. But moving slowly, with presence, gives your body a gentle re-entry into the world. Start with what feels natural. Raise your arms. Circle your wrists. Rock your feet against the floor. Let your spine lengthen. These are invitations, not obligations. You don't need a mat, a timer, or a coach. Just the awareness that movement is not a chore, but a conversation with life. There is something sacred about the first movements of the day. They are not about burning calories or reaching goals. They are about remembering that this body, your body, is still alive, still strong, still capable of experiencing joy. And each motion, no matter how small, reawakens that truth. If it helps, create a small ritual. A stretch before brushing your teeth. A breath before standing up. Let the body lead the mind instead of the other way around. It's not about routine, it's about relationship. One where you meet your body with kindness, not command. What if every morning was a chance to dance, not perform, but feel? No music needed. Just your heartbeat, your breath, and the rhythm of the day beginning inside you. 4. Drinking warm water before breakfast. A small gesture with a big impact on digestion and energy. Before coffee, before breakfast, before thinking too much, there's water. Simple, warm water. It doesn't promise miracles, but it offers quiet support. After hours of fasting during sleep, your body wakes thirsty. Cells are dry. Organs are still. Warm water gently awakens your system, lights the light through curtains, safe to steady and healing from the inside out. Dr. Ellsworth Wareham made warm water part of his mornings for decades. It was never about trends, it was about care. He believed the body deserved kindness before stimulation. No caffeine, no sugar, no harsh surprise. Just hydration. As he aged, his digestion remained strong, a fact he often linked to that simple act, drinking warm water before doing anything else. Scientific findings support this wisdom. A 2016 review published in Medical Hypotheses suggests that warm water, particularly in the morning, can aid intestinal motility, improve metabolism, and reduce symptoms of constipation, especially in older adults. It prepares the digestive system for food, gently activating the muscles of the gut without stress. Cold water may shock the body awake, but warm water invites it. It soothes the stomach lining, supports the liver, and enhances nutrient absorption. Especially for those over 60, the shift toward warmth in food, movement, and thoughts aligns with what the body truly needs: gentleness and regulation. Start small. Just a cup. Not boiling. Just comfortably warm. Add lemon if you'd like, or a pinch of ginger. But even plain water, taken with intention, is enough. Sip slowly. Let it settle. Let it become a moment. Not just a habit, but a signal. I am choosing to support myself today. You may notice subtle changes. Less bloating, better energy, a calmer stomach. It's not dramatic, and that's the point. This practice doesn't demand change. It allows change, quietly and continuously. Over weeks and months, it becomes a foundation for digestive peace and bodily trust. This isn't about rules or restrictions. It's about ritual. One that honors your body's first need each morning, before caffeine, conversation, or even buzz. Water reminds you that care begins not with doing more, but with offering more to what already exists inside you. What if every glass of warm water was more than hydration? What if it was a way of saying, I'm here for myself, gently, again today? 5. Making it a faithful routine. Conscious repetition turns well-being into a way of life. One healthy choice feels good, but one choice repeated again and again becomes something deeper. A rhythm, a foundation, a quiet form of self-respect. Routine isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. When you anchor your mornings in care, even simple care, the rest of your day responds. Over time, that consistency becomes your strength, not through pressure, but through presence. Dr. Ellsworth Wareham didn't just have healthy habits, he had healthy patterns. He repeated them not because he had to, but because they aligned with his values. His life didn't rely on motivation, but on rhythm. And from that rhythm, his mind and body found balance, one morning, one small act at a time. Longevity for him was less about genetics and more about gentle, repeated intention. Science echoes this. A 2021 study from the National Institute on Aging found that consistent morning routines in older adults were associated with better sleep, cognitive clarity, and emotional stability. The study showed that what matters most is not the intensity of the habit, but the regularity. Even simple practices, when done daily, create lasting physiological and psychological benefits. The beauty of routine is that it simplifies your decisions. You don't have to wonder, should I move? Should I drink water? You know. And in that knowing, there is peace. Your body recognizes the rhythm and begins to prepare itself, not out of effort, but out of familiarity. Like a garden watered at the same hour each morning, it begins to bloom without resistance. But routines only work when they are built with kindness, not force, not guilt. If you miss a morning, begin again. If a habit feels heavy, adjust it. Your routine should feel like support, not pressure. Like a path beneath your feet, not a weight on your shoulders. Let it evolve with you, gently, honestly, and patiently. You can even create symbols for your routine, a favorite mug, a particular corner to stretch in, a melody you hum while breathing. These small details build emotional anchors. They turn ordinary actions into acts of meaning. And meaning, more than motivation, is what sustains us as we age. What is most powerful is not the habit itself, but the story it tells. I am worth this time. My well-being is worth these few minutes. My day deserves a mindful beginning. When that story is told each morning, healing is no longer occasional. It becomes who you are. What if your strongest medicine was repetition done with love? A slow, steady devotion to your body and your breath. Maybe the secret to health isn't doing more, but doing simple things faithfully. In the end, longevity isn't a secret hidden in labs or locked behind prescriptions. It's woven into the quiet repetition of mornings lived with care. A breath before movement, a pause before reaction, a sip before the rush. These moments don't shout, they whisper. You are alive, and you can choose how to begin again. And in that choice is the power to transform an ordinary life into a meaningful one.